understand this morning that God sees you in your dilemma. God hears you in your distance. And if he sees you and he hears you, you ought to touch somebody and say, he will answer my prayer. First Kings chapter 19. First Kings chapter 19. Verse 4. To all of you, I thank God for you being here on today. To all of you around the world that are viewing, we thank God for you for tuning in on this great day. First Kings chapter 19, verse 4. Do want to give a special thanks to a man that have been blessing many individuals, Dr. L. Curry. I want to say thank you to him, not only Dr. Curry, but to my father, Pastor L.N.JONES, Jr. I stand on their shoulders in this arena of the gospel. First Kings chapter 19, verse 4. You find these words according to the King James Version of God's Holy Writ. But he said, but he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under the jopper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die, and said, it is enough now. O Lord, take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers. When discouragement has gotten the best of you. When this discouragement has gotten the best of you. You may be seated. How often we face disappointment, discouragement, and despair. At one time or another, each one of us will experience this time within our life. The Bible said, Job quoted, that a man born of a woman is just a few days of trouble. And I don't know about you, my brothers and sisters in Christ, but I have seen some discouraging times in my life. There are some times I really couldn't help. There are some times I really couldn't do nothing about. And maybe you've been there yourself. Where some things in your life that you tried to push forward in. There's some things in your life that you tried to better. But the more you tried to press, the more you got held back. This text on this morning is powerful in itself, because we don't have just anybody. We have a prophet of God who has been set upon the scene. Prophet of God, if you look over in verse of chapter 18, you'll find out that Elijah stood on Mount Carmel. And Elijah allowed the Lord to show forth his power in the midst of 450 prophets. God showed up and everybody realized that Elijah's God was the real God. But I come to tell you that many times when we achieve victory in our circumstances, Christ is still around us. Anybody experience that? When God brought you out of one thing, here it is, something else that popped back up. God then brought you out of this, something else popped back. So I believe in elementary school we would say, up pops the weasel, up pops the devil. Every time you're trying to move forward, it seems like discourage you. Something's always, if it ain't friends, then it's a family member. If it ain't a family member, then it's a friend. If it ain't a friend, someone that's close to you, somebody's always taking the joy out of your life. Elijah, whose name represents, oh yes, God is Jehovah. A prophet that understood, yes, by fire, lightning, tornado, and earthquake. Elijah, I'm going to tell you right now that God shows up when you call him. But not only that, God had allowed Elijah to face King Ahab. Told him that it was not going to rain till he gave the word. And he said, I'm not giving the word right now because I'm about to go on vacation. And God took him through the school of hard knock life. While he earned a bachelor's, associate's degree at a brook that was dried up. While he earned his master's degree, yes, at an old widow's house that was about to give up. He earned his doctorate degree when a young man had died and he brought him back to life. And baby, when you have experienced all of these triumphs and victory over circumstance, there's something always there that try to discourage you. Yes, when Ahab saw what Elijah had done, he ran back to go tell his wife, oh yes, the news. But instead of him telling his wife, oh yes, that God had accomplished these great things, he told his wife, yes, that Elijah had killed all her people. Can I drop this in real quickly? Discouragement will come in different forms. Here it is in verse 1, it came with a false report. In verse 2, it came with a fearing reply. In verse 3, you'll find out he feared for his life. You understand it here, when you get nervous, when you get frightened, I don't care how many scriptures you know how to quote. I don't know how many prayers you know how to pray. The discouragement will get the best of you. It will get the best of you. But can I give you some instructions on this morning? Because the Bible said when, Jezebel had heard what he had done, she sent a message to him and said, yes, about this time tomorrow, you're going to be dead too. Here it is, Elijah took on running for his life. But I want to encourage you on this morning to don't depart, but just trust God. I want you to understand it, my brothers and sisters. Why should I stay and I see the circumstance? Why should I stay and I see how hard things are getting? Because first I want you to understand, you need to choose to stand and wait on God. A true child of God knows how to let God intervene in his situation. You ought to touch somebody and say, just wait on the Lord. You ought to wait on the Lord. Guess what? I don't care if the false reports are going out. Just wait on the Lord. I don't care if it is the situations are getting hard. Just wait on the Lord. I don't care if it seems like you can't push through. Just wait on the Lord. But the more you wait on the Lord, the more God will strengthen your heart. Bible says in verse 3, he was afraid and rose and ran for his life. Here it is. This happens to believers. Because if I go back and ask Israel, the Bible said God brought them out of Egypt. And as soon as they got to the Red Sea, they started getting weary. They wanted to go back and die in a place of captivity. And I come this morning to encourage somebody that if God has brought you out, maybe don't try to go back. You ought to just stand where you're at right now and just wait on the power of God to intervene in your situation. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? He's brought you through your storm. I ain't trying to go back. He brought you through your trials. I'm not trying to go back. He brought you away from him. Baby, stop trying to go back. Reason why some of us can't receive our blessings because we can't get off our necks. We get off our ex, we don't know how to get our necks. I wish I had me a witness up in here. You mad about something that happened 3 years ago. Baby, get over that so you can get what God got for you. You worried about him, baby, get over that so you can get what God got for you. If you worried about a situation, God has already brought you through They're messed up because they got beside themselves. If David was here, David would tell you. Now he asked that he was supposed to be fighting. And he understands that he fell from the grace of God when he put his guard down. I want to encourage somebody here. Don't be like Noah, who trusted God for 120 years, got off the boat, but put his guard down. Don't be like Peter with an arrogant attitude, trust in the Lord, but put your guard down. Because when you put your guard down, that's when the enemy gonna try to come in. That's when the enemy gonna try to defeat you. It's because you feel discouraged. Regardless if you got knocked down, baby, keep your guard up. Regardless if you got talked about, keep your guard up. Regardless if you've been going through situations, keep your guard up. Regardless if you got prognosed with something, keep your guard up. Don't ever put your guard down. Tell somebody, keep your guard up. Y'all gonna help me this morning. Y'all looking at me like I stole your lunch money. But here it is, keep your guard up regardless of what it is. What you mean, keep my guard? I ain't talking about these fists, but I'm talking about the whole armor of God. You got to know how to stand with the armor on. Not only should you not depart, but trust God. Once you understand, you need to choose to stand and wait on the Lord. Consider the source and the situation. I wish I had somebody that knew how to shout right there. Have you ever received some news from somebody who didn't have good public credit? I ain't talking about money credit, I'm talking about public credit. Who's known for lying, who's known for keeping up mess, who's known for backstabbing, who's known for trouble. Come tell you about somebody else. Maybe you're running yourself ragged. You're losing your mind behind somebody who don't have a good source. Some of our discouragement is coming from folks who are not credible witnesses. They're coming from folks who just know how to exaggerate the story. Hear somebody say, when you get grown, you don't lie. You just stretch the truth regardless to the fact it's a lie in my books. You can stretch all you want to, but guess what, my brothers and sisters? Consider who's telling you what you're hearing. Consider, they're telling you about your man look really hard. Where's your man? They're telling you how to clean your house. Look really hard. Are they borrowing or sharing somebody's house? If they're telling you how to conduct your life, really look hard and see how they conducting their life. Because the Bible lets us know if we just stop judging one another and start looking at ourselves, I believe we'll be able to straighten out some facts. Our time is expiring. I'm asking you to choose to stand in the middle of the Lord. Consider your source in your situation. But don't let cleave to your salvation. Secondly, on this morning, I want you to understand that don't let depression hinder your perception. Your perception is the awareness of God. Your observation of where God is able to find you. And the response of God has for you. I want you to know right now, depression will hinder your ability to stand and wait. You'll get tired of going through the situation, and you'll try to do it all by yourself. But I want you to understand this morning that God sees you in your dilemma. God hears you in your